What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back for another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. Let me start by saying that I'm pissed that I didn't go to Lovers and Friends. Y'all, I am so mad that I did not go to Las Vegas for the Lovers and Friends Festival. I'm actually legitimately pissed. I'm pissed at myself for not paying attention, not actually buying the tickets when the flyer first dropped last year, for putting it off, for thinking, oh, maybe one of my friends gonna hit me up and want to go. They don't ever hit me up and want to go to no concert. I knew it wasn't gonna happen, okay? I'm pissed for waiting on this mythical scenario that was supposed to pop off in my favor for the concert. I was gonna go. When and seeing on social media, I knew hella people who were out there. I was just gonna give me a ticket, go to Vegas, give me a hotel room, have me some nice dinner, go to the pool, go see Lovers and Friends Festival on that Saturday in Las Vegas, and then take my ass back to Los Angeles. Well, y'all, I'm so mad that I ain't go. I mean, everybody was out there, okay? Sean Paul, Lil' Kim, Remy Ma, Eve. Y'all know I love me some Eve. Y'all, when that Eve first album came out when I was in high school and I was in my 1994 four-door navy blue Saturn, okay? When I had that Eve playing, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't really tell me nothing. Y'all, everybody was up. Usher performed, of course. He had Ari Lennox, Summer Walker. Everybody was there. Busta Rhymes. Genuine fell off the stage again. I'm pissed. I'm going next year. I don't want to hear it. Unless the lineup is mediocre, because I said the same thing about Essence Festival last year, the year before that, and the year before that, and I was prepped and ready to go, but I'm not necessarily enthused about the lineup for this year, so I'm not going to go. But I say all of that to say, at some point over the weekend, the rumor popped off that Usher and Chris Brown got in a fight at the dang skating rink at Lovers and Friends weekend. Y'all, what? So back up. Apparently, Usher, who is at this point the king of Las Vegas, because that boy be down there working and he be skating. Usher, the king, he gonna keep skating. I just accept he's just gonna be skating, and now he throwing everybody a skating party. So he threw his little bro, that's how he refers to Chris Brown as, he threw him a birthday skating party. And at the skating party, everybody in the industry who was in Vegas was there skating and having a good old time. Rumors popped off, videos started flying that allegedly, because y'all ain't about to get me, that Chris Brown and Tiana Taylor got into it. There was a scuffle. He said something crazy to her. Usher tried to step in, allegedly, break it up. Chris Brown spit at somebody. Usher tried to mediate, follows Chris Brown out of the venue. Chris Brown, his boys jumped Usher. Usher had a bloody nose, allegedly. Now, y'all know the king of R&B, Usher Raymond the Fourth. Y'all know he don't talk about his business. When any rumors pop off, Usher ain't speaking. Usher ain't saying nothing. He gon' keep it classy. So, of course, we have heard nothing from him about any of this. Adding, we also haven't heard anything from Chris Brown about it or Tiana Taylor. And y'all know Chris Brown, he gonna get on social media and talk. So, not a peep. We just heard all of this TMZ and all these bloggers saying all of this stuff. The next day, Usher gets on live at Lovers and Friends. And side note, somebody said that this is his festival. Is that true? Let me know, because if it is, Usher getting the bag. But whatever. He got on live. No scratches, no bruises on his face. No nose, nothing bloody, none of that. It reminded me of the T.I. video when somebody said he had two black eyes and he got on live and was like, where they at though? It was pretty much the same. Where they at though? Chris Brown didn't say nothing. Tiana Taylor didn't say nothing. Her team or people around her even posted a video of her dancing at during the Chris Brown set. So it's sounding like it either A, did not happen, or B, something happened and they're just being adults and it is what it is. which I am not mad at. But let me say this. If Usher did not get assaulted, whether he did or didn't, people thought about it, didn't think about it, y'all not going to be disrespecting the king of R&B. You just not going to be doing this. Usher in his 40s, one. Ain't no old man about to be fighting. Usher has to probably do a full stretch routine before he does anything. Fighting is not even on the agenda. So y'all not going to be disrespecting Usher. Next. And again, it sounds like it did not happen, or if it did happen, they're not talking about it. So I'm just talking about it in general. In this next scenario, if somebody, one of your homies, throw you a party, don't be cutting up at the party. Don't be tussling with nobody. Don't get mad. If somebody threw you a party, just have a good time at the party. If it's a skating party, skate your ass around the ring and just have fun. We too old for the drama. But we too old for the drama. And in this case, if there was drama, they handled it well. So kudos to everybody involved or that wasn't involved, because it's looking like ain't nothing happened. Or if it did, again, they keeping it on the hush hush. And shout out to everybody who went to Lovers and Friends and had a good time without me. What did y'all think about this whole scenario? Did y'all see it? Did y'all go to the festival? It's only one day and it was packed. I'm talking about from 12 p.m. lunchtime to after midnight. They was going. Mariah Carey was even out there. You know, she don't even really be singing. Like, she don't really be doing festivals like that. But hit me up with your thoughts about all of this. You can find me on social media at Canelia. Another black man was unnecessarily killed in New York City this past week. This young man's name was Jordan Neely. He was killed on a New York City subway train car by a man named Daniel Penny, 24 years old, ex-Marine, U.S. Marine veteran. And there's so much to say about this, but I'm just going to focus on a few things. One, now black people can't be homeless. I've said on the Black News Podcast a lot of what the black people cannot do without risking being murdered. Add being homeless and going through some mental health challenges to the list. Apparently, Jordan was frustrated and yelling out about being hungry and not having anywhere to live and not caring about life anymore. Wasn't assaulting anybody, wasn't hurting anybody, but that was cause for Daniel Perry to take it upon himself to put Jordan in a chokehold and to hold him on the ground for several minutes to the point where he then died. Now, outside of this being terrible and tragic on every level, and outside of Daniel Perry still not being arrested, him apparently being protected by the NYPD because his dad was a cop, and apparently he got an attorney. They making statements talking about he regrets that this happened. He still ain't locked up. One of the biggest things that I just cannot get over is the fact that nobody did anything. Nobody did anything. Nobody on that train car dragged Daniel Perry ass off of Jordan Neely and stopped him while he was choking him to death. Nobody did nothing. Like, people were recording. People felt uncomfortable when they were moving seats and getting out the way and shifting around, but none of y'all did nothing. Nobody thought, oh, maybe we should stop him. Nobody thought to pull him off. Nobody thought to yell or scream or get help or do something to the point where he wasn't choking this man to death. Who are we as a people? And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I know a lot of people like, if I was here, I would have done. I don't know what I would have done in that situation, but I know I'm speaking just for myself. And while I don't know what I would do in my situation, when you have a train car full of people, you have people from different backgrounds, people who see and react to things differently. So you had different types of people ranging from different places in their lives and ages. And none of them at whatever point and stage they are in their life thought to jump in and do something to stop this man from choking him on the train. I do not understand. I do not understand How are we now in a place where instead of helping people, and we see this on social media all the time now, instead of doing something, we just recording it happen? Was there a bystander holding a gun to the passengers? Were they being held at gunpoint? Was somebody in that vicinity threatening to hurt anybody who stepped in? I even been reading reports that says there was another man who was lightly trying to mediate, but one who got on the ground with Daniel Perry and was helping him to restrain Jordan Neely. Was there somebody with a gun holding everybody in the car hostage? Like, somebody got to make me understand. I do not understand. Me? If I'm the Jordan Neely family, I'm getting the name. Yes, because it was brutal homicide. I'm pushing them to arrest Daniel Perry. Charges being filed. I'm personally also seeing what I can do for everybody who witnessed that. Because if you witness manslaughter and you don't do nothing, or witness a murder, can't you be held liable? Like, what can I do to make sure everybody up in here about to go down? Because y'all just sat here and didn't do anything. Now, on the flip side, I say that lightly because, again, I don't know how people are in different situations, and I don't know how I would be in that situation. And I would hate for me to be witnessing something like this and having frozen due to my own internal trauma and not liking conflict and not liking aggressive behaviors and retreating in that way. And then in turn, I became liable for something because I was frozen in my actions. I would hate that to be me. So I'm not necessarily saying that they should be held accountable as well. I'm more so saying, where the fuck was everybody in that train car to the point where nobody could help Jordan Neely? Where were they at? What was y'all doing? The audiobook ain't that good. Okay? The podcast ain't that what you're listening to. It ain't that good. You couldn't do that. Anyway, I did not watch the video. I saw screen grabs of the murder. Because as mentioned before, I can't watch no more black people being murdered. I can't watch no more video of it. I just can't do that to myself. But I've read enough. I've read plenty of articles and accounts to know what happened should not have happened. And Daniel Perry needs to go to jail. I've also been reading, because y'all know also what's been happening now is, especially with social media, and I'm going to say this because I really believe this, it's especially on Twitter. Ever since Elon Musk took over Twitter, there has been a lot of discourse, a lot more discourse between black people amongst ourselves, and a lot of discourse from trolls attacking and saying crazy shit to black people. It's been at a level that I have not seen since them Russians had our aunties and uncles in that misinformation chokehold of 2017. Y'all remember that? I honestly believe, and there ain't nothing you can tell me, because we know how Elon Musk skews. He skews on the side of white supremacy. He has pretty much stepped out into that lane. I would not be surprised if on the back end of Twitter that Elon Musk hasn't set the algorithm to cause madness and mayhem amongst people within the black community, to increase the level of discourse, to increase the level of black men and black women coming against each other, because now on our timelines all we see is discourse and negativity on a loop nonstop. And that was not like that before Elon Musk took over. It was bad, but now it looks very calculated. I'm gonna say that. And later on, when he's no longer the heads of Twitter and they do some research and say that's what happened, I told y'all, it is not a coincidence. It's just not. But a lot of that people been throwing out like, well, Jordan Neely has a history of violence and yelling out derogatory terms and bigotry and homophobia. He's been yelling at people on the subway and in the streets of New York these terms, and he was yelling out homophobic phrases and being racist. Basically trying to justify his death by the actions he's been doing and things that he's been saying. Now, let me say this. And I saw somebody post this, so I'm just repeating the sentiment and throwing it out there for conversation. We should probably stay away from justifying people's death by the fact that they have said derogatory terms and been bigots and expressed homophobic views vocally, because there are a lot of people of a certain demographic and background who have been doing that here for hundreds of years. So if we saying somebody could be harmed because of the stuff that's coming out of their mouth, it's a whole lot of people that have been up out of here. It's a whole lot of people who would have been in harm's way. If you are a Twitter troll and you are justifying the murder of somebody because of some words, Twitter troll, you be doing the same thing. So what does that mean? I'm just saying. But overall, another tragic loss of life. Pray for Jordan's family. Pray for justice, fight for justice. People are protesting, and it sounds like the NYPD is being overly aggressive and violent towards the protesters. But keep at it. Daniel Perry murdered Jordan Neely on a subway train in New York City, and I'm sorry, you just can't get away with stuff like that. What do y'all think about the situation overall? What are your thoughts? Did you watch the video? Are you like me and you just can't do that anymore? Let me know. Hit me up on social media with those thoughts. Would you date the bus driver? That's been the $1 million question for the last week and a half. Would you, Black News listener, date the bus driver? Would you get into a relationship with the bus driver? That's what we're going to talk about. I know we have talked about this, ran this topic into the ground. If you are on any social platform, you have probably seen discussions, arguments, debates, clips, reels, TikToks, and so on about dating the air quote bus driver. It started where Iyanla Vanzant was on Ebony K. Williams' talk show on The Griot. Ebony K. Williams is, I believe, close to my age. She is an attorney. She is an author. She's an entrepreneur. She is a television host. She is a reality TV star. The girl doing good for herself, okay? Respect the hell out of her. She AKA, listen, she a stinky pinky, but I still like Ebony K. Williams, okay? Shout out to the stinky pinkies. Y'all know Iyanla has been in this space of talking about how women we're becoming too masculine. Okay. That has been a conversation overall, but Iyanla has been asked about it and has been talking about it. Ebony K. Williams asked Iyanla on her show something along the lines of, Iyanla, me being who I am and having dated who I've dated and seeing the way, the education gaps, the wealth gaps, the success gaps that are happening between Black women and Black men, what can I do to put myself in a position to be able to find a mate? And what can Black women do? That was that's a scenario or synopsis of what she asked her. Iyanla then chimed in and said, would you date a bus driver? She then asked again, would you date the bus driver? Ebony K. Williams responded, yeah, if he owned the bus. Right then, the viral clip stopped and then it hit the streets. Now, I watched the full video where there was a fuller discussion. It was more thought into it on both sides. But once the streets get a hold of something, it's over. Once you talk about Black women dating somebody, here they come. And I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm continue on explaining the whole, painting the full picture, but I'm going to just drop this right here. Why are Black women the only people asked to date outside of their, what will be considered their like genre or their status? Why are we the only women asked to date outside of where we are, outside of our equals? Why? Y'all don't be asking nobody else that. Okay, so we'll put a pin in that. Ebony K. Williams then went on her podcast, Holding Court, with her and Dustin Ross to do a podcast. She talked about it even further. She went on the Breakfast Club because they had a whole conversation about it, trying to drag Ebony K. Williams. And then they brought her on the next day where she talked about it even further and then tied it to this idea of status within the Black community and us striving for more, average, mediocre, and regular, what that means. She's not calling those jobs that, but as Black people, we need to do better and see why are C's and D's good enough for us, and why are we fine with still working jobs that put us in a position to be at a disadvantage in this country. Fantastic discussion within the Black community. I'm disappointed that the parties involved in the discussion, not Ebony K. Williams, Charlamagne and DJ Envy, are not better adversaries and better debaters for that topic. I would have loved for that discussion to be in a different platform with different people. Keep Ebony, but give some other people to chime in on it. If y'all have not watched it, watch the full discussion and watch the full conversation, please, all of them. But it started this conversation about dating and standards and all of this. We're gonna move past the part about status within the Black community and the topic of regular and mediocre and average and all of those discussions. But let's just talk about women in dating. I asked the question, why are Black women the only ones asked to step outside of their what will be considered their equals and date, well, we would say date down. And people on social media saying men date down or asked to date down all the time. To me, that's not a valid comparison, because what women and men seem to require in relationships are different. A lot of men will tell you, as long as the girl fine, he don't care if she work at the gas station. We can't use that kind of example because we date ugly men all the time. Let's keep it a buck, okay? We be dating uglies. But even deeper than that, people seem to, cause then people are saying bus drivers make 100,000 and all this other stuff. Yeah, in some cities, but a lot of cities they don't. They make 40, 50K. And in this economy, we can't, hey. But let me say this, because my homegirl Robin Ayers posted, she has a radio show and was talking about this topic, and I made this comment. I said, I think the point that people are intentionally missing is that this is not just about being a bus driver. Ebony seems like a very ambitious, aspirational, goal-oriented, and highly educated woman. People with those qualities sometimes require partners who have those same traits, and not for arrogant reasons. It's because of compatibility. And it's easy to assume that someone working in the public transportation field at that level cannot match her in those areas. So no, she ain't dating a bus driver and probably wouldn't ever be in a space to meet that man. That's the first point. Why would Ebony K. Williams date a bus driver? Where would she even meet him? Where would an attorney, a television host, an author, a personality, a celebrity, where would she meet a bus driver? She wouldn't even meet that man anywhere. 1. 2, just because you make a certain amount of money doesn't mean that automatically makes you compatible for a certain type of person. And that can go both ways. Because for women, just because he got money don't mean he gonna be a great guy. He could be trash. But it's so interesting how people assume that money automatically equates compatibility. And honestly, to me, that says a lot about people's dating lives if they think it's that simple. Compatibility is a huge deal. And for as someone who has dated someone who could be considered on the same level as a bus driver, talking about me personally, I do not recommend it unless you have really done your due diligence about the person and you know for a fact that y'all are compatible. Again, I say that I do not recommend it unless y'all have personally done the due diligence and know for a fact that y'all are compatible. Because let me give you a scenario, and this is going to be relatable to me and what I've experienced. I was once in that place in my life, and I feel like a lot of Black women can probably relate to this, where you're dating and you are in the world and you've been trying, you feel like you've been doing the same thing over and over, and you listen to maybe some older women or, you know, some friends or just outside voices that tell you to try something new. And in a lot of cases, try something new can be somebody who didn't go to college, isn't in like a corporate environment, isn't in entertainment, is what people would consider, and I'm going to do air quotes because it seems like this word makes people mad, a regular guy. I feel like a lot of women, Black women, have been in that situation. I've been in that situation. Now, with that, let's say this person is a nice guy. You have to keep in mind how you show up in certain areas of your life is oftentimes how you show up in a lot of areas of your life. So for me, went to college. Most of my friends who are not in entertainment have went to college. They have master's degrees. They are very successful in their careers, are established, have money, like they doing it. A lot of my friends in the entertainment industry, they also are very successful. Maybe they didn't go to college, but after you've been in entertainment for a certain amount of time, you getting it. You're popular. You have notoriety. You sometimes may be a celebrity. You are known. People look up to you. You got some clout. And in this case, when you are a woman in entertainment or just in general, and you make a decent amount of money, a good amount of money, and you are dating whoever you're dating, you're going to interact and bring those men around in your spaces. You're going to interact and y'all going to mix and mingle. A lot of times what you run into and what I ran into is a couple things. One, that man being insecure because his education level didn't match the level of theirs. That man being insecure because he career-wise didn't match where theirs was. That man being insecure because mine did and he could not relate to that, and it bruised his ego seeing me being able to interact and be in those environments, and he felt out of place or inadequate. Him not making as much money as anybody in that space, including me, or that in this case, it could be any case, his partner, his girlfriend or his wife, fiance, whatever the case may be, and then him feeling inadequate about that. Then seeping into your relationship, because if he cannot mix and mingle in those spaces, he probably can't have a conversation with you. I've done this, and I remember dating a man who again didn't graduate from college, wasn't close to graduate from college, wasn't well read. He was a really nice guy, really hardworking, really nice guy. Date the nice, hardworking man. He didn't have nothing to talk about. When I would talk about things outside of TV shows and what was happening with celeb gossip, he would just get dead silent, wouldn't have anything to contribute. He did not have anything mentally stimulating to say. He could not provide any advice or context in regards to my career and how to achieve success, because he had not achieved it. He could not guide our relationship, or if we were to eventually get engaged and get married, I wouldn't dare letting him lead our family, because he couldn't lead himself out of a hole. So when people ask successful or accomplished or educated or ambitious or creative and smart Black women, would they date somebody? Please ask them if they would date somebody who they're actually compatible with. Because what is Ebony K. Williams going to talk to a 40, 50-year-old bus driver about? Not saying there is anything wrong with that career, that man. but it's about compatibility. There is somebody who is on that person's level, Ebony's level and the bus driver's level. In my case, the person who I dated at his level, it wasn't me, because we didn't have shit in common. Because again, it ain't about just black women dating who's available and giving the nice hardworking man a shot. Sometimes that shit don't work. And let me tell you something. If you're a young woman listening to this podcast, listen to me clearly. The person you date has the power to either elevate or to ruin your life. The person you date has the power to elevate or ruin your life. And when I tell you, some of these niggas will try to take you down. They will try to take you down. I could elaborate more on my situation, but I ain't gonna really throw nobody up under the bus. But I literally at one point felt like my career was being sabotaged because he could not handle it in comparison to what he was doing and was not able to do in the access that he did not personally have. But again, it's because y'all be telling us to give all the hardworking man a shot. Let me also read this comment that I think really sums it up that I saw on a video. Jesse Wu did a good recap about this on YouTube. If you hadn't listened, check it out. But somebody in the comment section said this, and I thought it was just great. She said, dating someone below your financial or and intellectual status is a painful experience. I just got out of a grueling experience with someone who had big bum energy, low expectations, no desire to excel, lack of intellect, emotionally and mentally, lack of funds, and full of excuses, which he called reasons, to absolve himself from any responsibility. Just a bad mind man. I will never ever cheat myself like that again because I damn well knew better. Definitely gonna sort this out in therapy because he shouldn't have even had access to me. Ugh. Let me read a key point in there. Again, dating someone below your financial and or intellectual status is a painful experience. It's a painful experience. Painful to the extent of stop asking black women and telling black women to date outside of their league or their status. Just stop it, because it is painful for us. Okay. But I can go on and on. What did y'all think? Did y'all get in on all of this discussions and topics and conversations about it? I would love to hear y'all thoughts. And would you date the bus driver? Personally, yet I would date the bus driver if I knew for a fact what his goals were, if he had ambition, a plan, if he wasn't content in that position, if he was supportive of my endeavors, if he were not insecure in comparison to my life and to his, and if he were kind, love God, love kids, love his family, all of those things, all of it had to line up in order for me to date the bus driver. And let me add, all of that will have to line up anyway if I was to date the investment banker. All of that would have to line up if I was going to date the doctor or the actor or the producer or the entrepreneur or the musician. All of that would have to line up anyway if I was going to date anybody. So again, in regards to this, stop asking black women if they're going to date certain types of people if you are saying that as a way to put them down and to lower their standards. Let me know your thoughts about it. Hit me up on social media at Canelia. On this week's episode of Black News, we discussed the Lovers and Friends Festival in Las Vegas this past weekend and Usher and Chris Brown. And just a commentary around that entire situation or that non-situation. We also discussed Jordan Neely's untimely death at the hands of a pedestrian on the New York City subway and the outcry and the backlash that has surrounded that whole situation and the fact that bystanders literally didn't do anything to help. Also, would you date the bus driver? We talked about it. Ebony K. Williams' statement, and the overall conversation of asking and telling Black women to date outside of their status or what would be considered their equals. Hit me up on social media and let me know your thoughts about all of these topics or none, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again. Thank you. And thank you again so much for sticking with us, supporting the podcast, liking and subscribing on all apps where podcasts can be heard, rating 5 stars, and leaving a comment. It helps more than you know, so I really, really appreciate it. And keep sharing Black News with all of your friends and family. Be sure to hit me up on social media if you got ideas for topics. Or just hit me up in general to let me know you've been listening. Let me know your thoughts. I'm at Cornelia on all platforms across the board. That's at Cornelia, like Kenny and Ophelia. Also check my website. I got some shows coming up in Los Angeles County. Hopefully get on the road soon. But for now, if you're in the LA area, hit me up. Check Cornelia.com for show dates and details. And as always, thanks again so much, guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Keep supporting, keep growing, keep building, keep staying safe, and keep staying healthy. As always, again, I'll see you back here next time, same time, same place. Bye.